All right, good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. I have some opening remarks. The public meeting is being heard by the City Council Planning Advisory Committee, and public notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The non-elected members of the Planning Advisory Committee are Mr. John Beltudis, Mr. David Joyce, Ms. Catherine Brown, and Mr. Paul Jennings. Citizen appointees may ask questions and participate in the discussion in order to assist in making recommendations to City Council, but may not make motions or vote in connection with the public meeting. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Planning Committee or City Council before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of City Council or the local Planning Appeal Board. If a person or public body does not make an oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the City of Belleville before the related bylaw is passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the local planning appeal tribunal unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to add the person or public body as a party. Comments received at this public meeting, as well as written comments, will be considered by the Engineering Development Services Department in analysis of the applications that were part of the public meeting tonight. A recommendation report will be brought forward upon receipt of all agency and public comments in the future. Any persons wishing to be advised of the Belleville Planning Advisory Committee's recommendations with respect to today's applications are requested to leave their name and address on the appropriate notification sheet located on the clipboard beside the podium. In attendance, I see everyone's present. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none, public meeting. 3.11, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed amendment to official plan and zoning bylaw number 10245 as amended, 375 to 405 Bridge Street East and 172 to 184 Herkimer Avenue, City of Belleville, County of Hastings, file number B-77-1093. Applicant owner is the Algonquin and Lakeshore Catholic District School Board. Agent is Todd Colburn, Colburn Kemble Architects Incorporated. Mr. Denny.
Thank you. The applicant is Algonquin and Lakeshore Catholic School Board. They have applied for an official plan amendment and a rezoning to bylaw 10245 for the purposes of expanding the St. Joseph Catholic School and site located at 405 Bridge Street East. They own 5 neighboring residential lots and are looking to incorporate them into the school site design. They are seeking to redesignate them to community facility and to rezone the residential lots to community facility zone. The entire school site would be zoned with special provisions to reduce front yard depth, interior side yard depth, and parking requirements in an attempt to improve urban design. The expansion includes demolishing the existing 2-story portion of the school and replacing it with a larger 2-story addition. The proposal also includes a new parking lot to be added off of Bridge Street East, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application? If you could come on forward, just activate the microphone there, please.
I'm Todd Colburn with Colburn and Kemble Architects, and I'm here with Brian Davies of the Algonquin School Board. I just wanted to note that we are here and that we will answer any questions from either staff or members of the public. And that's it, really.
Okay. Is there any questions from committee members? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of the application? Yeah, if you'd come forward and activate the microphone.
Hi, my name is Doug Taylor. I'm here with my wife Kimberly and my son Michael Taylor. Kim and I own the house at 373 Bridge Street East, and we're directly to the west then of the proposed change in bylaw. And I think we're the only residents that's directly affected by the change. At least we have a full eastern border boundaring on the proposal. So we have talked with Todd Colburn. Thanks very much, Todd. And we've basically come to an agreement that, first of all, we want to be good neighbors to the school, and we'd like the school to be good neighbors to us. And to that end, there's a couple of things that would make us pull away from any objection to this zoning change. And the first thing is that we'd need some satisfaction that our property value isn't compromised. What we have now is two residential, 250-foot lots to the east of us, and then the school. And what's being proposed is that those houses, which are now owned by the school, will be demolished and replaced with a parking lot. So our question is, to what extent is the use of that parking lot, and we're unclear as to what the use of that parking lot is, to what extent does it compromise our property value? And the next thing we are a takeaway that assurance of which would make us support this thing is that our quality of life is not compromised. Right now, our son's in the house until he secures a position overseas. But there's a good chance that Kim and I, who live in Wellington, will move back into the house as we get older. And it's important to us that our quality of life isn't compromised by whatever zoning changes and those implications have for us. We brought to Todd's attention specifically that there's a buffer zone contemplated in the drawing, in the site plan, that's 3 meters and it's going to be covered with trees and green space. And that makes us happy. There's nothing wrong with trees, except that we're the victims of water. 2 floods since we bought that house in August of 2018. One was sewage and one was groundwater. So we're and it cost us a lot of dough to rectify that situation. So we're really, really highly sensitized to what the plans are for drainage on this property. And any captured water has to be dealt with. So if there's a buffer zone and some capture of water between that buffer and our easternmost wall, we're worried. So that's a point that I raised with Todd. The next thing is that the plan here contemplates a board-on-board fence with what's it called? A lattice, a 600, I guess that 600 millimeter lattice above. We've looked at the fence that's surrounding the property right now. It's not a pleasure to look at, and it's not structurally very stable. It's not built for neither longevity, looks, or privacy. So what we're contemplating is asking the board to consider a properly built fence made for privacy, made for longevity, and made for low maintenance that would include our eastern, southern, and western boundaries entirely, in its entirety. So that what we're looking at is a consistent look. Right now we've got 1950 round top wire fence. You all know that. We got a neighbor who straddles our western border with quite a decent and fairly new western red cedar 6'5" fence that's solid privacy, except that it's 75-25 on our property. So the fence is an issue. We'd like to have, again, back to our principal needs here. We need privacy. We need enjoyment of our life, and we need to not compromise the value of our property. I'd like to talk about the parking for a minute. We're not clear, and I'd like to bring that to the attention of this group and to Todd, and I've spoken to Todd at length about this. We're not clear as to the use of the 24 space parking lot. What is that for exactly? When we look at the plan, the parking is identified for staff and it's identified for parents, but the new 24, it's called new parking, 24 spaces, it's not clear what that's used for. Now, we think it's going to be used for daycare pickup and drop off. We think it's going to be used for, there's a program and I'm going to forget its name. Early on, yeah. So fair enough, except if I were a teacher, and especially if I were the principal of that school, that's where I'd be parking. And I just want to know, just give us a flavor for what's the nature of that lot, how busy is it going to be, are we going to have cars idling into our backyard? So that's an issue that I want to talk about. I think Kimberly, do you have anything more to add?
But if we were to
Here, talk.
If we were to...
Kim Taylor.
I'm not entirely sure how we'd reach agreement on any of this. This is a new process for us. But if we were to enter into further discussions with Todd and the board, we would appreciate seeing what the design of any proposed mitigation would look like prior to the appeal process being over, so that we still had an opportunity to say whether we were satisfied or not with what was being proposed.
So in conclusion, if our 4 points are addressed and somehow we come away with some satisfaction that our house property value is not going to go down, I don't think it's going to go up as a consequence of this zoning change. We already have a school in the area to the extent that schools contribute to property value. So the disappearance of 2 houses adjacent to us, I don't think so. The addition of a parking lot, I don't think so. So a fence would help. I didn't mention drainage. That was one thing. I mentioned it, but I wanted to offer a solution to the drainage. Right now, we have a grassed area, and I provided Todd with photographs of the grassed area on our easternmost boundary between our wall, our foundation wall, and the neighbor's driveway, which the ward now owns. It's 5 feet. And right now, its slope north to south is 0. And I'm contemplating some kind, if they have to restructure the grade anyway, please get onto our property and restructure a grade that's architecturally consistent with good drainage, good design practice, because right now, I'm really afraid of water in the basement again. So with that, I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Okay, before you go away, staff will comment on a couple of things, and I'll open it up for committee members if they have any questions.
So the purpose tonight is to take your concerns, discuss them with the school board, see if there's any amendments to the plan that they might put forward to reflect your concerns. We'll also, through our engineering department, look at the drainage plans and stuff as well, just to make sure. I'm sure that if there's an opportunity for grading, starting from your site, and that would be something the school board could consider as well. So we'll take all of your input and look at the plans, and then before we come back with any final recommendation report.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything I can do in terms of, I've written to Todd, and Todd has copied my letter to his client. Can I appeal to this group? Is there somebody in this group I could, Thomas, can I send it to you?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Todd did provide me with all your email
Oh,
exchanges.
so you've
too.
got the whole
Yep.
thing. All right.
Okay. All right, any question from committee members? No, seeing none? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Yes, if you come forward and state your name. Oh, it was activated already there. Yep, there we go.
Hello, my name's Avita Baskin. I live at 23 Pine Grove Court, which is south of St. Joseph's School. And my concern is the walkway that's on the west side of St. Joseph's into the residential, primarily senior citizen complex residential area. Seems to be a little question about who actually owns it. But I was told the city owns that property, and that the design looks like it's going to be closed off. Is that true?
Okay, I'll get you that answer.
The second part I heard
Sure.
was that it's going to be open, but only to school children, and there'll be a gate at the end that someone will come out and monitor. And I'm thinking, well, so you're going to have all the parents coming around into that residential area, dropping kids off to get into that side of the school? But it's the walkway between Hastings Drive and St. Joseph's School. It's been there since the school was built in 1953. So I use that walkway all the time. Is it going to be left open and gone people can use it going up through the parking lot, I can't see that that would be a problem.
Okay, I'm going to refer that to staff. Go ahead.
So this, you're right, the city does own that little jut out. We don't own anything on the school property. Obviously, we'll take your concerns to the school board. However, the school board,
Well, what's the plan now?
actually, we can ask this, I think Mr. Colburn said he was available to answer questions, so that maybe we can invite him to answer that question.
So the existing walkway, the little jut out is city-owned. It is 50 years old. Presumably, the intent was when the subdivision was developed as an access to the school. And children do use that. The gate is opened up to get into the schoolyard in the morning and then closed off and then opened up again at night into the play space for the school. There is no easement across the property for access to cross the property from that walkway to Bridge Street. So we're proposing, as part of the redevelopment, because we're expanding the school to the west, we're also expanding the play space, which now goes beyond where that walkway is. So we're kind of in a conundrum. So we're proposing to close that off and have a gate at the end of that walkway, which, similar to now, would be open and closed during arrival and departure times only. So there is no formal intent to allow people to cross the property to Bridge Street.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other further comments, ma'am? Yep.
Does this mean in town where there are numerous walkways that they can just automatically be closed? I mean, I can read off to you, I know, there's one from Dunnet Boulevard to Mackenzie Bowl, Albert College to Albert Park Building, St. Joseph's, Herkimer to Crestwood, Monroe to Georgian Court, YMCA to Plaza Square, Carlo Court to Hague Road, Farley to Woodland Acres. So at any time, they can just be closed off.
So I think walkways that we have easement agreements with, we have control over as a city,
That must be most of them.
or city-owned land, we have direct control over. This is, property is owned by the school board, so if they have policies with regards to children's safety and
Has there been a problem with children's safety there?
Okay, so I'm not able to answer that question, but if you want to, the school board is here,
I'm sure that should be public knowledge. If there's been a safety problem for children, that should be public knowledge.
We'll make note of the concern, but that's a question to ask the board.
Okay.
The planning committee wouldn't have that information. We don't have that information.
No, I mean, if you're saying it's safety of children, then there should be a concern. Anyway,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. Any questions from committee members on that last deputation? No? Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition of the application? You come forward and state your name.
Marie Durling, I live on Montgomery Boulevard, and we're kitty-cornered to the pathway. So now we have children being dropped off both sides of the street, morning and night. And my concern, if the boundaries of the school are increasing, be more kids. Sometimes in the winter, if there's snowbanks, I can't even get out of my driveway if I'm leaving when school's out, because they're on both sides. There are parking restrictions there, but it's not enforced, and no one really follows them. So that's my concern, if it's going to be open at certain times, and as I said, the number of school kids are increasing. More people will be coming around to the back side rather than the business at the front.
Okay. Staff are making note of that. Any questions, committee members? No? Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition of the application? Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition of the application? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to refer to the Planning Advisory Committee? Councillor Culhane, seconded by Councillor Sandison. All in favor? Motion's carried. So I'll adjourn this portion of the meeting, moved by, sorry? Oh, yes, just if you would, just as a reminder, I had it in my opening comments. Anybody that spoke at the podium, if you write your name and address on the clipboard beside the podium there. Okay? So I need a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting. Moved by Councillor Sanderson, seconded by Councillor Kelly. All in favor? Motion's carried. Moving on to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting. Attendance, I see everyone is here. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof? Seeing none, I need confirmation of the minutes of the City Council Planning Committee meeting and Planning Advisory Committee meeting held on October 7th, 2019. Mr. Baltutis, Mr. Joyce, all in favor? Motion's carried. No deputations, Mr. Clerk. We have no correspondence. Okay, so referrals from the public meeting. 6.1, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed amendment to the official planning zoning bylaw number 10245 as amended, 375 to 405 Bridge Street East, and 172 to 184 Herkimer Avenue, City of Belleville, County of Hastings, file number B-77-1093. Applicant owner is Algonquin and Lakeshore Catholic District School Board. Agent is Todd Colburn and Kemble Architects Incorporated. Principal planners report number PP-2019-79. The resolution reads that report number PP-2019-79 dated November 4th, 2019 regarding notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed amendment to official plan and zoning bylaw number 10245 as amended, 375 to 405 Bridge Street East and 172 to 184 Herkimer Avenue, City of Belleville, County of Hastings be received as information, and that staff report back at such time as input from the public, commenting agencies, and municipal departments has been received, assessed, and addressed to the satisfaction of the Engineering Development Services Department. Mover, Councillor Williams, Councillor Culhane. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Reports 7.1. Recommendation report for application for proposed amendment to zoning bylaw number 3014 as amended. 41 Casey Road, former Township of Thurlow, now City of Belleville, County of Hastings, file number B-77-1089. Applicant owner is David Putman, Beth Putman. Agent is Keith Watson of Watson Land Surveyors Limited. Director of Engineering and Development Services, report number PP-2019-81. The resolution reads that Planning Advisory Committee recommends the following to City Council: that zoning bylaw number 3014 as amended be amended by rezoning 41 Casey Road from prime agricultural PA zone to prime agricultural PA zone with special provision to recognize the reduced lot area for the retained parcel, and from prime agricultural PA zone to rural residential RR zone for the severed parcels, and that all future applications in the area referred to as the Canafton Industrial Planning Area for the purpose of creating rural residential lots through the severance and rezoning process be deferred until the new updated official plan is approved by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs, which will provide policies for the industrial lands in the Canafton area that meet the requirements of the provincial policy statement. Moved by Mr. Joyce, seconded by Councillor Kelly. Any questions or comments on that one? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. 7.2, recommendation report for proposed amendment to zoning bylaw number 3014 as amended. 527 Old Highway 2, former Township of Thurlow, now City of Belleville, County of Hastings, file number B-77-1090. Applicant owner is Jan Ann Buma. Principal planners report number PP-2019-75. Resolution reads that the Planning Advisory Committee recommends the following to City Council: that application B-77-1090 to amend zoning bylaw number 3014 as amended for land described as 5027 Old Highway 2, Belleville, County of Hastings be approved as follows: that zoning bylaw number 3014 as amended be amended by rezoning the severed parcels from rural RU zone and hazard H zone to rural residential RR zone to fulfill a condition of consent for applications B-19-19 and B-20-19. Moved by Councillor Sanderson, seconded by Councillor Williams. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Motion's carried. 7.3, recommendation report for proposed amendment to official plan and zoning bylaw number 10245, for 656, 660, 664, and 570 Sydney Street, City of Belleville, County of Hastings, file number B-77-1092. Owner is Belleville Community Developments Limited. Applicant is GCL Developments Limited, and the agent is RFA Planning Consultant Incorporated. Director of Engineering Development Services, report number PP-2019-78. The resolution reads that the Planning Advisory Committee recommends the following to City Council: that application B-77-1092 be to amend the City of Belleville official plan and zoning bylaw number 10245 as amended for 656, 660, 664, and 670 Sydney Street, City of Belleville, County of Hastings, be approved as follows: that Schedule B land use plan of the official plan be amended by redesigning the subject lands from commercial land use to residential land use, and that zoning bylaw number 10245 as amended be amended by rezoning the subject lands from restricted industrial M1 zone to highway commercial C3H zone to residential 7th density R7 zone with special provisions to permit 4 apartment buildings with a total of 96 dwelling units. Moved by Ms. Brown, seconded by Councillor Sanderson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Motion's carried. 7.4, backyard chickens. Principal Planners Report number PP-2019-80. Resolution is that the Planning Advisory Committee recommends the following to City Council: that report number PP-2019-80 dated November 4th, 2019 be received as information, and that the matter of backyard chickens be referred to the city's consultants who are currently undertaking the development of a new zoning bylaw for the city. Moved by Councillor Kelly, seconded by Councillor Culhane. Any questions or comments? Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you, through the chair. So what we've got is we've got a comparative report that sort of takes a look at the issue from the perspective of looking at what other communities have done. So what is it that the group is intending to do? Just pass this report forward to council as it is?
No, what is being recommended here is that we receive it and that the matter be referred to the city's consultants who are currently working on the zoning bylaw, and they would include this as they do their full review.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to pay some consultants to incorporate something on backyard chickens into an official plan? That seems, sorry?
So go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Right now, so it's complicated, yeah, because we have the official plan going on, but they're also going to be undertaking the zoning bylaw review as well. So this would just be simply referred to them as part of their zoning bylaw review. So they'll be basically reviewing the whole of Belleville's 3 zoning bylaws and creating 1 zoning bylaw. So it's a very large process, and it's a 2-year process, but it's going to take a long time, and there's a lot of work involved. But there's going to be a lot of inquiries and suggestions during this whole process. This is just one of the many that we'll get, so it'd be more logical for them to deal with those.
Okay, thank you.
And the reason why the motion's here is we had the request and the deputation, so this just officially moves that public request on. Okay, any other questions or comments? Councillor Williams.
So, and I'm assuming at that point at council, then we'll have the ability to talk more about it. The consultants probably will look at the different municipalities, is that correct? Or is there input beforehand that you're going to want from council and from the planning committee?
Go ahead, staff.
So the overall zoning bylaw review, they've actually prepared an engagement plan, and so it's going to be a lot of, garnering feedback from the community about a number of issues. Again, this will just be one issue. So yeah, council, it'll go back to council. You'll have the chance of looking at all the individual components, so you'll still have a chance to sort of put your viewpoints forward on backyard chickens, but I think in this manner, they'll be able to do it very logically and sensibly, because they're going to be looking at all our residential zones and stuff too, so they'll be able to sort of compile something that makes sense if that is what council wishes to permit backyard chickens.
Okay, and last question, I think just something that caught my eye, I know Councillor Culhane was just mentioning that, well, something right now is we have a threat would be that we have compensation that the municipality gives to owners of livestock lost to predators, and that's between $30 and $1,200 a chicken. I don't know where they're selling those chickens to, but can we look at other, I think just on notes when they're doing this review, can we look at other municipalities that may have had that issue and just include that as information when that comes back?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, see none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Information matters, official plan and zoning bylaw amendment monitoring report, report to November 4th, 2019. I need a motion to receive. Mr. Baltutis, Ms. Brown, any questions on anything? Councillor Culhane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Mr. Ashton. The issue about 55 South Church Street, B77-1058. They're still negotiating for a settlement there or a resolution of some kind?
Mr. Ashton.
Okay, we have received correspondence. I've received a lot of correspondence from a lot of matters over the last week, but I believe that we did just receive correspondence, and we will be scheduling this solicitor to once again attend council during the in-camera session at our next meeting
Okay,
to
thank you.
discuss this.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on any of those? All in favor? Motion's carried. General businesses and inquiries. Anybody have anything? No? I just have one item, kind of goes along the lines with the comprehensive zoning bylaw. I'd just like the consultants to consider tiny homes or small homes as they're called, just in terms of the zoning bylaw. Thank you. Okay, before I move adjournment, I have some closing remarks. The Planning Advisory Committee's applicable decisions will be forwarded to City Council for consideration, forming part of the agenda for the City Council meeting to be held at a future date. With that, I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Baltutis, Councillor Kelly, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you.